Welcome to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Every week, you can have the conversations you've always wanted to have about the films you love.
Shut up!
We're gonna get you. Not another peep. Kinda
Get rid of your distractions and prepare yourself.
Fold and lock your door. 5, 6, crucifix.
You got a big surprise coming to you. You're not going anywhere.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cult Classic Horror Show. I'm Danny Bonin.
Back with you guys. Scotty Bonin here, too.
We are the Blood Brothers.
Back in action.
We both got it that time. We're on it.
Yes, we are A-OK.
Feels like we haven't done a show in a while because we recorded the last 2 episodes all at once.
Mm-hmm. We did them both in like a matter of 2 days.
Because we were out of town and...
Just got back from Mexico.
Mexico!
Wish I was still there, but what can you do? That's what you always do.
Mexico was... it's always good. We've been down there like 20 some times. I don't even know, 20 times. Who knows?
Helps when the mom's hasn't got a timeshare back in the day, and we just use it whenever, every year if we want to or whatever. So it's nice to get on the beach.
Our mom's crazy. She goes on all those timeshare tours, literally. But they're like hustlers down there now because, if you guys listening to this have gone anywhere, like you go to Vegas or you go to Mexico and you're at the airport and they always swarm you. You get off the plane and you get your luggage, you're going out and they're like, sorry, in Vegas they swarmed us at the hotel, but not the airport. But in Mexico, it's definitely
they're
at the
like
airport.
right as you get out of the plane. They're
They're
right
like,
there.
activities, you want cab ride, you need an activity?
Come on, mister,
Here, come talk to me, come talk
here.
to me. There's like 50 of them wanting you to talk to them. And of course, all they want to do is book you on a timeshare tour and then give you free activities,
Free gifts, free activities.
If you go to our 90-minute presentation, then we'll fucking give you free jet skis and $100 gift certificate to this restaurant or something.
Yeah.
And most people are like, all right, well, let's plan a couple free activities, or a lot of people just don't do it. But my parents are so crazy.
They're like addicted to doing it.
They only take cash, and they only take like $300 or more for each one.
Yeah. So
And-
they like bank like every day.
Yeah, when you're only supposed to do one for your whole vacation, that's like the rule with timeshares. They won't tour you if you've done one already. Of course, the street vendors get paid for booking them. They're the guys who are trying to get you to go.
So they don't care.
Yeah,
they're
they don't
going
care.
to book
They're
you
like,
as many as possible because they get a commission.
Yeah, so they went on. Almost went on one every day for the 13 days we were there, and $300 a day. So they're making money on it.
Oh yeah,
and they only last. I mean, they end up being they're gone for like 3 hours.
Yeah, they're gone for 3 hours, and they have to have the power of saying no.
Yeah,
or buying, which
it could be a waste of money.
God.
It could be a waste of money if you, because of earning $300 a day, you went and bought a timeshare for like $30,000. Then it wouldn't really be worth the $300
But if you
a day.
don't buy and you get $300 a day, then hey, you're golden. You got more money to spend on vacation and activities.
But they're literally hustlers. Like even this time, usually they go down there and they scour the streets, or they usually set one up with a dude at the airport, and then when they walk the street, they'll like set a few more up with people on the street. And then whenever we walk down the street with them for the rest of the vacation, everyone's like, "Hey, Mr. Moore, Mr. Moore." Yeah. Our stepdad's last name is Moore. Mr. Moore, Mr. Like everyone knows him.
Everyone knows the Moores on there. Oh, the Moores are here.
The Moores have come to Mexico. Timeshare.
Oh, I call them.
But this time he emailed this guy ahead of time that helped him out 2 years ago.
Hector the Protector.
Hector the Protector. They all have fucked up names.
You guys got to find Hector the Protector. He's
Cabo
at the Walmart,
San Lucas.
The Walmart in Cabo.
He's in Walmart in Cabo. Find him. He'll hook you up.
Yes, he will.
Hector,
Activities.
Tell him Scott Moore sent you.
Yep.
But he literally emailed them. He's like, "Hector, we're coming down." And Hector's like, "I take care of you every day."
He got a free shuttle ride. He hooked us up with, connections for horseback riding and jet skiing and snorkeling and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
So, anyways.
Talk to us about like food that we should buy down there. Coffee and hot sauce, which it didn't end up being that good. Hot sauce.
No.
But
so
anyways,
if you ever go to Cabo, Hector the Protector, in front of Walmart, he'll help you buy food because it's all in Spanish.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Mexico was great. It's good to be back though.
Yeah,
guys.
now we're on back on the show here, and we had a fun time. Although we didn't have as fun a time as we did that time we got hookers in Mexico.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just came right out and said it. I didn't pussyfoot around it. But
that was when we both were not married and didn't have girls.
Okay, we're still on Mexico, but I opened the can of worms.
Yeah.
And we sort of had to go through the story real quick.
Yeah. Well, you're married now. I'm not yet. I'm engaged, but we
yeah.
were single at this point.
We're not unfaithful people.
Yes. We were all bachelors.
And actually, we don't even want to get hookers or anything. That wasn't even the plan.
Yeah.
We don't even want hookers. I wouldn't go to a place and get a hooker now, even if I wasn't married.
And yeah, me neither. And this wasn't Mazatlan, and all we wanted to do was go to a strip club, because strip clubs in Mexico are awesome. If you've ever been to one, they're different from the U.S.
Sometimes it's like the B squad there, compared to the expensive places in the U.S. Like, we don't go to a lot of strip clubs, but
no,
I've just been to a couple. It seems like Mexico has like the B squad,
but you get it's more
cheaper.
Free and
it's way cheaper.
It's cheaper, and the rules.
Yeah,
there's not as much rules there.
So we had that stingy, gringy cab driver. We came out of the hotel. It was me and my brother and our friend Joe. We're like, we just want to take us to the strip club, take us to whatever you recommend. He's like, "Ooh, I take you to sex massage."
We're like, that's a weird name for a strip club.
We're like, sex massage, okay. He's like, "You want girls? I take you to sex massage."
We're like, "Yeah, we want to see girls. Whatever, just drive."
So he pulls up in this shady looking neighborhood,
outside of the city.
Yeah,
we're
to
like,
a house.
Where the fuck are we going?
He pulls up to a house. He's like, "Sex massage right here."
Yeah, this was like a 3-story, like a 3 or 4-story house.
I don't know. I think it had a business sign out front. Yeah, something. I don't even know.
It looked almost like
It was legit though.
It was legit, like a nicer, old school house with those columns and stuff.
Yeah. I don't remember it in this much detail. I have no idea what the house looked like, actually, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well, I remember it was the column
but anyways. All I know is that he's like, "Here it is, sex massage." We're like, "Oh, okay." And we just walk in, and then there's someone there who helped us, and then they brought out they're like, "Okay, $70 each." We're like, "Huh? $70 each? Okay."
Like what? And then
they brought out 5 girls or something. And they're like, "Okay, choose your girl." I was like,
"Oh, yeah, I know what this is now."
I had an inkling right when he pulled up, but I was like, "Okay,
okay, we're at a hooker house,
here's
whorehouse,
what it
whatever
is.
you want to call it."
But of course, Scotty instantly grabs the hottest one.
Oh yeah, I had my $70. Boom, I choose her.
I was sort of like, "Do I be nice?" And there was one of those situations where there was obviously a hottest one, and I was like, "Shit." I eyed her when we got in. I was like, "Oh, that's the one probably." And then Scotty paid first instantly. He's like, "I'll take her."
Of course, she was the hottest one.
Fuck.
But she's probably the one that's been with the most guys.
That's true.
And,
It was a respectable establishment. They had they had endless condoms and showers in each room. And so that was our adventure.
Yeah, the girls put on the condom for you.
I think we were 18 years old.
Yeah, 18 or 19. That was a fun time. So anyways, that was a good time.
Everyone's like, "Those poor girls," but I still contend that we were a refreshing evening for those 3 girls, because they're probably used to these fat old Mexican guys coming in.
Yeah.
After day
sweaty
labor,
guys.
Yeah, after day laboring.
After construction.
To have 3 18-year-old white guys walk in, they're probably like, "Ooh.
Oh man, jackpot. These Americans from Colorado."
All right,
that was fun.
Anyways, okay. That's
there'll be more stories from Mexico.
One of many Mexico stories.
We'll tell a couple in later episodes.
So
possibly.
Episode 25, we're talking about Dawn of the Dead.
Ooh,
we are on moving on through George A. Romero
George
segment.
A. Romero's.
This is arguably, I don't know, maybe his most popular. I don't know. Night of the Living Dead. Everyone's heard of Night of the Living Dead.
But
one of the most popular movies, definitely to date, at this time, but just at all for George Romero. So it was by far the biggest budget he had worked with up until this point. Did we even?
And this was
You need to pull that up on your phone if we didn't pull up that budget.
the budget.
Yeah,
I can check it
that's
out.
one little fact I didn't grab actually.
And this was, of course, 10 years after Night of the Living Dead, so he was more of a proclaimed director, and 1978 is when it came out.
Yep.
But it still had that 70s, 80s music.
Yeah, it did.
Just makes it seem so old. But
yeah. No, it was. I mean, personally, okay, I like Night of the Living Dead. I think that what have we talked about so far? Martin, the Crazies. Mm-hmm. The Crazies was a little hard to watch for me. Just a little jumbled, a little not top notch, know. And so I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it again, but not my favorite. Martin was better. Martin was pretty good. It's classic. It was there's some good stuff about it. But still a little bit jumbled, but still a good movie. I think this one shows to date that like he's really grown as a director. The movie's more put together. It's easier to follow. It's more. It catches you more. You're not. You don't find yourself wandering when you're watching it. It's not at all boring or anything. It keeps you going the whole time. So I don't know. That's what I think about Dawn of the Dead. Night of the Living Dead is sort of like that. So it's almost like he put out this film, Night of the Living Dead, and I almost think it's like he took a step back for a few films. Yeah. And they weren't as good. And then, boom, he came up with Dawn of the Dead, and that was it,
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. Dawn of the Dead kind of was after Night of the Living Dead. It's kind of the peak. And then after that, of course, he went into more movies, and he helped, of course, with the remake of Dawn of the Dead. What was that, 2004? Yeah, I'm not sure the year on that, but I'm sure we'll get to it. But anyways, the budget for this film was $650,000.
Really, that's it.
So
still?
That's what it is.
I thought it'd be more than that.
Yeah, 2004 was the remake.
We were watching
directed by Zack Snyder.
Yeah. Well, we were watching. Oh, 2004. Okay, yeah. We were watching some interviews on Dawn of the Dead, and they had a gentleman. I think he was a producer who was talking about how it was the largest budget that Romero's ever worked with, and people were saying, "Oh, he doesn't know what to do with a big budget," and obviously he does because the movie came out great. Yeah, but he was still saying at the time that anything under $2.5 million was considered low budget, and I just think that's crazy. In the late '70s, that $2.5 million was a shitload of money back then. Yeah. Oh yeah. And
considering Night of the Living Dead was $80,000 was the budget,
or I thought
it was $104,000.
I'm not sure. I think 80,000 was what Martin was.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is a big jump to go up to 600, whatever you just said, 630,000.
650,000.
50,000 for Dawn of the Dead.
Oh yeah, 114,000 was
for Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead was 114,000.
Yeah, so he even went down in budget after that, probably because they had a bunch of partners on Night of the Living Dead. But anyways, so but speaking of Martin, the guy who played Martin,
John Amplis.
Yeah, he was a casting director for Dawn of the Dead. Funny enough.
Yeah. His job was to find tons of millions of zombies.
Yeah,
be extras.
Hundreds and hundreds of extras.
Yeah, they had on any given day, they had 300 to 400 extras in some of the scenes, which is crazy.
Yeah,
in this movie. And you can see all the people that are in that mall and stuff.
And Tom Savini was talking about how on any given night, you might have to make up 5 zombies, put makeup on them, or up to 200 for a scene. Yeah. You'd be putting makeup on 200 zombies for the night. So I should go back because I saved for the night. The mall they used, which is in Pittsburgh, or in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Monroeville?
Yeah, Monroeville. It's still there. I believe to this day. It was there in 2013. We watched some footage on that.
Yeah, but Monroeville. Monroeville.
They rented out this mall, and they were only allowed to use it from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. every night. So they literally had to go. And they said they would arrive at about 8 p.m. and they would start sort of trying to set up what they could around the mall goers and everything. Yeah. And then I think the mall closed, they said, about 9:30, and so people would be leaving, but then the vendors would still be there, and they'd be setting up around them, and everyone would be gone by 10 or 11. So they'd start shooting at 11, and then they'd have to stop shooting at 7 a.m. so that they could clean up before the mall opened at whatever it was, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So
that's say limited time.
yeah, very limited time. You only have 7 hours of shooting basically once everything gets going.
So that's why when you have 200 zombies to put makeup on, you do like the 5 or 6 zombies really well, and then the other ones you just throw that blue makeup on
Yeah,
them.
exactly. I think they did mention that, or even if they didn't mention it, you could definitely see it.
Blue face paint.
You could see it in the movie, and you could see it behind the scenes when Tom Savini was doing some of the makeup because, there were definitely. And actually, I read about this for Army of Darkness. That's what it reminded me of. I always bring Evil Dead into everything.
Got to do it.
But with Army of Darkness, they did something similar. They any skeleton or soldier that was in the army that was close to the screen, it was like an animatronic skeleton that was a robot or motorized or sort of controlled with the controller. And then anyone who was sort of a certain amount of feet back
in the background
was just someone with like skeleton clothes on or something.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. It's like every other one. And that's kind of how this was too. You saw the close-ups of the zombies. They had more of the blood and more of the skin coming off, and more of a better job with the silicone, or was it silicone that they used?
Yeah.
And then the other ones, that are in the background, you just look like their face was painted blue.
Well, most all of them just look like their face was painted blue. It's like everyone has something lodged in their throat and they're walking around. Everyone becomes a fucking Smurf when they die. That's what happens in Dawn of the Dead.
Yep.
Everyone's a Smurf.
This movie, though, it did start off chaotic. Like, what the hell's going on? Kind of like Crazies.
Yeah, it had that feeling of Crazies.
Like there's all these people in a newsroom. There's this guy trying to tell them about this outbreak of zombies and this virus or whatever, and everyone's going crazy talking and
people are like yelling at him. I don't know. I thought that was sort of not realistic when they're filming the news, but then everyone on the film crew of the news is like yelling and arguing while the news is being filmed.
The guy even puts bunny ears behind him and stuff.
Yeah, I'm like that. This would not be happening right now. What the fuck are you guys doing?
So it was a little, I was like, what is going on right now? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I knew they were talking about the epidemic going on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I was like, too much yelling. What the hell?
Yeah, well, it's just his style. He gets it going. Even in Martin, he got it going with the initial girl on the train scene, It wasn't quite as jumbled as the Crazies or as this one in the beginning. But yeah, there's no lead in. There's no how did this happen.
Yeah.
It's happening right now.
George A. Romero, that's how he does it. He just jumps right into it. There's no explanation for what's going on. It just starts.
No setup, and that's saying a lot for Dawn of the Dead, because this was, the version we watched was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah,
2 hours and 15 minutes,
almost 2.5 hours. Yeah.
So to think that there's no setup for this apocalypse. That's 2.5 hours straight of just zombiness.
They did a ton of filming, yeah.
So that's saying a lot. A lot of movies would take time to maybe introduce characters or wander around first with no zombies, but no, they just jump right into it. So, we talked about how they use the mall from 7 to 11. Another interesting thing is that they took a break from filming during the month of December. Because they didn't want to have to take all the Christmas decorations down to film and then put them back up every night and every morning. So, I would have too. That would have been a fucking pain in the ass.
That gave George A. time to do his cuts and stuff and do some editing and whatnot for what they already shot.
Yeah, that's right.
And he said he cut a ton of it out.
That's
but
right.
Kept some good stuff
too. No, he talked about how during that month break they went in. He went through and did a lot of editing and cutting and looking at the film, and then the whole crew, the cast, all talks about this. How when they came back after that month break, everything was almost looser and a lot of improv, and not like the actual scenes were improv, but the script was being improv as they went along. Scenes were being rewritten, things were being revisioned because. After he got that 40,000 foot view of the movie over that month, he wanted to take some things in a different direction, cut some things out. He didn't like how some things were looking, and so it was cool. The movie just sort of changed when they came back. The whole feel did,
and everyone loved that. And people were saying George A. He's that kind of guy where he's easygoing, is open to ideas and stuff, and even Tom Savini's like, well, how about this scene where he's scuffling with the zombie?
Yeah.
It's the
maintenance man, right?
No, it's the maintenance man with the helicopter flyer guy. Guy?
Oh yeah,
whatever.
Roger,
the main guy. Well, not. Oh yeah, Roger. Yeah,
it is with Roger.
It is Roger.
Yeah,
and he falls down, and then how about you put the screwdriver through his mouth, through his cheek, and out the other side? And George Ray's like, okay, sure.
Yeah,
he just doesn't even care. Like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, everyone talked about how relaxed and easygoing,
good sense of humor.
Yeah, how George was just the best to work with. He was so relaxed, so easygoing, and it's like you just said. Tom Savini would take suggestions from crew members, from people in lighting, and whatever. If it was a good idea, he would listen to it and he would consider it.
Yeah.
So. Hold on.
What the hell is that sound?
Oh, man, I just pissed my pants.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I thought it was horror at halftime, but he just pissed his pants.
No, it is.
I was joking. It is the horror halftime. Here we are.
All right, this is your chance to become horror freak of the week. Yeah, you need to. So if you listen to us before, we do this. You participate in the event. You post something on our Facebook, and then if we like it, we give you some free shit. So this week we're on to Dawn of the Dead, and we do a lot of memes and meme stuff. And so I'm going to stick with that, but I want to get a little specific here. So we have there's like a couple standout zombies in Dawn of the Dead, and I want you to create a meme of one of them, okay? And I mean, if you think, I'll name a couple off the top of my head. I mean, there's the Hare Krishna, the bald guy with the little ponytail coming out of the middle of his head.
Yep, the first one to go upstairs in their secret hideout.
Yeah, exactly. So he's sort of noticeable. I know, actually, I think he personally has like made a career out of Comic-Cons from this. But if you can catch a meme with him, the other noticeable guy is who gets his head chopped off by the helicopter blades. He looks funny as fuck.
Or the guy at the top of the escalator that keeps falling backwards with his eyes wide open.
Yeah, so those three. I want to see your best noticeable zombie meme from Dawn of the Dead. It might be challenging, but I want to see it. So once you get that, post it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/cultclassichorror. You can post on Instagram too. Tag us at Cult Classic Horror. And if we like it, we'll just send you some stuff.
And just for the hell of it, if you guys live in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, just let us know and see if you've been at that mall before.
Yeah, take some pictures.
Take some pics
of the mall. Let us know if you've been to the mall.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes the horror halftime. Nice.
All right, let's get back into it. Yeah. I was smelling my armpit really quick.
I just noticed that.
I thought it was soiled. Like it was like
soiled. Your armpit pissed itself?
Like it pissed itself. It was a little damp in my pit area. I don't know why. I might be sweating.
Why would you be sweating?
I don't know.
All right, well. I'm making Scotty nervous, I guess.
Yep, he's making me nervous. He's here without pants
all that
on.
Talk about Mexico hookers.
Yeah.
Got him going.
Got me going big time.
All right, so
some of the fun facts I just wanted to throw out there.
Yeah.
So we get the guy in the very first scene. They're raiding the house and the hotel, and this was Savini's effect. The lemon head blow up when the guy shoots his head and it blows up like a fucking lemon,
like a shotgun or whatever.
It literally blows up like a freaking watermelon. And then there's the guy that looks like Lionel Richie. Who walks out of the bathroom closet.
Blue Lionel Richie zombie.
Lionel Richie.
And then the fucking
bites the chunk out of the lady's shoulder.
Yeah, and then there's like the young man or teenager looking agent who shoots himself in the head for no reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. First of all, he looks like he's from like this era right now. Mm-hmm. It's like you just plopped him out and stuck him back in there. And then he's like nothing. I mean, yeah, there's zombies. They've shot a couple. And he shot one, and he's just sitting in the corner, and then he just shoots himself in the head.
Mm-hmm. He's freaked out.
What the fuck is he doing?
He can't take it.
I mean, I could see it happening if they filmed it right, but the way they did it, it was just sort of like this guy was like, boom.
I did see a zombie that looks like me, too. Rudy,
that's right.
Our friend Rudy was watching with us.
Yeah, Rudy was supposed to be on the podcast, but he bailed.
We miss you, Rudy. It's all right.
Oh, well.
But he looked exactly like me with blue head paint. Almost like a Blue Man Group guy.
Blue Man? Blue Man. Blue Man Group. They're all really zombies from Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
there's the same scientist is in this from the Crazies.
Yeah.
That yells really loud. and
So
tells
he's
people
being
to stop.
interviewed. Yeah, he's being interviewed on the TV in this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, he played the scientist in the Crazies.
And is he a scientist again in this?
I
think
think
he is.
so. Yeah, they're like interviewing the scientist, and he's the one. Yeah, they had like around 35 staff or crew members for this movie, which isn't huge. But yeah, like we already mentioned, hundreds of extras, actors.
Yeah,
just
like 300, 400 zombies
yeah. And
coming
then
throughout the night.
and another cool thing, we talked about the mall, letting him use the facility and everything. I guess the mall didn't make any money off of this. The mall, they were real supportive. They were, I don't know if the owners were moviegoers or whatnot, but they basically just charged them what it cost the mall to keep the lights on, keep the, do everything they needed overnight. And the mall really didn't make any money off of it. So
They were probably just proud to have a motion picture being shot there.
Yeah,
Even though it was considered low budget still.
yeah, I think that's pretty cool that they let him do that, because a lot of people think that, oh, if it's a movie then they can afford anything, but a lot of even Romero at the time, or a lot of people shooting movies, independents, they got to work with what they have, and they can't afford a lot of money. And we had our parents. I'll tell them our parents have a dinner theater, and a couple of years ago now, I think.
Yeah, it's been like 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it was rented out for a movie filming for a movie called Dear Eleanor, which is actually now just coming out on DVD.
DVD and on demand.
Yeah, it's directed by Kevin Connolly from Entourage, and has Jessica Alba and Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson,
in it.
Josh Lucas.
Yeah.
A few other. Oh yeah, Patrick Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, Schwarzenegger's son.
The girl from Orphan. I forgot her
Oh
name
yeah, I
is.
forgot her name too.
She's in the Hunger Games
Yeah.
too. But Jessica Alba's in it. I mean, that's all.
Yeah.
But anyway,
She was in our building.
in our building.
So, anyways, they filmed this movie. They rented out some space for filming, but they took up the place for like 2 whole days or something, and they sort of trashed it a little bit and used everything, and they didn't put a lot of it back like they said they were going to, and so that could have just been that crew that didn't do it right. But
They
I
were
think
local crew too, I think.
and I think they ended up paying our parents like $1,000 or something. I think, which I don't know. My parents were at that mindset. They were like, "Well, what the hell? We should get like $5,000 or more, $10,000.
It's a professional movie.
Yeah, it's a major motion picture. But I was sort of like, whatever, just let them use
It's like,
it.
you know what? They're
It's
not
pretty cool.
All movies have big budgets, and there's a movie being filmed here. It's putting us on more on the map,
Yeah,
So
I was like, it's pretty cool.
it's really cool.
So
They pulled up their trailers in the parking lot. And,
yeah, it was a huge
Oh man,
thing. They blocked off a lane in front of the place. It was crazy.
generators to keep the building cool because it was so hot.
So I say all that just because the mall didn't make any money.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, mall, who's still there today. And they have a bunch of like plaques up and pictures, and they're proud to be the original mall from Dawn of the Dead, which I think is awesome.
And we're talking about how long this movie was. George A. He did a lot of. He didn't take time to do a bunch of like reshots or shots. Like one or 4 times. If they got it good enough, they kept moving it along. And that's why he does get so many shots in all of his movies. And he takes time to cut it. He does it by hand.
Well, I mean, they had to back then.
back in 1978.
That process was so much different than it is nowadays. So yeah, he's like the opposite of Kubrick. Kubrick sits there and does take after take after take, and they were talking about how Romero will get, this amount of work done in 2 hours, where it would take another director 2 days to do that amount of work, because they had to get every little thing perfect. And they talked about how they did do storyboarding and everything for this movie, but they talked about how he will sort of give the lines for the scene, a general flow of the scene, but they won't block it exactly to the T. Like you walk here, stop here. You walk there, stop there. And he's like, "This is what's going to happen. You're over here, and let's just do it."
Yeah.
And so
Just general guidance, and then you go with it.
that's probably how some of the ridiculousness got in it. Like when he swings the hammer, when Flyboy swings the hammer at the
Flyboy,
zombie out in the airfield there.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah, he like
the most
it's like-
ridiculous swing ever.
Yeah. Awkwardly ridiculous swing I've ever seen. And it's like he misses him, but he just like gets his arm, and then the lady
falls on top of him or something.
his girlfriend, which is the main girl in it, just runs away, and she's like is conflicted. She doesn't know what to do. I'm like, just run! What are you doing?
Yeah. Or help him. I don't even know. But
I thought Ken Foray was a badass in it. He was just, you know, almost like Ben in Night of the Living Dead. Dwayne Jones. He was just like indestructible, like one of those guys, almost like an Ash. You know, he was.
Romero likes the strong
badass.
black men.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But you know, also shooting inside the mall at night, they talked about how this was basically a lighting nightmare inside the mall.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know, and if you're involved with filming at all, you do know that lighting is just a son of a bitch. Usually, you have to have professional lights, or at least a lot of lights for just even a normal like living room scene in a house. You'd think, well, let's just go in the living room and shoot it, but that's not how it is. The lighting has to be so dealt with, and it's just such a pain in the ass. And so if you think about that, but then you put it in a mall setting, and they talked about how, you know, you're doing, normally in a movie, you'll do a shot of someone. Let's say you're doing like a scene, you're doing a 2-shot where the camera's on one person, and you want to catch the conversation, and then you redo the scene, you put the camera on the other.
On the other person, yeah.
Yeah, and that way you can switch back and forth between both cameras as the scene is going on.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, in a normal situation, they would light the room, they would do the shot, they'd film one person, they'd call for a reversal where they just switch the camera to the other person, and since they're in a small area, probably not much lighting had to be dealt with. But if you think of this huge mall, you set all the lighting up for this one person, and you call a reversal and you switch it around, all of a sudden the camera's looking down like 200 feet of mall hallway
So
that's not lit or anything.
You have to light that whole hallway up.
You have to make everything look right, you know.
And there's mall lights, but you got to have more lighting than just what the mall lights provide for you.
So they just talked about how much of a nightmare it was to
spend weeks
light the place,
to light the size of the whole area there.
Yeah, and then just that was mainly the time was taking the light setup for the shots. So, yeah, crazy.
And it seems like George A., like when we were watching behind the scenes, it seems like he's in like every scene, like sitting by the bench while the Flyboy is shooting, and he was there helping Tom Savini when he flew off the banister onto those boxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which they're boxes. That scene's so funny.
Well,
too.
yeah, when he does, so you know, Tom Savini has the machete and he falls off the balcony, the second story of the mall, and technically
when Ken shoots him,
technically falls into the fountain, you know, but really when Tom is obviously a makeup artist, but a stuntman as well, did his own stunt there, and they had piled up cardboard boxes, like I don't know, probably 8 feet high,
like 8 feet, yeah.
And then they laid a couple mattresses on top of the cardboard boxes.
Yeah, old school style.
Yeah, and then he just went for it. I mean, he dove off and landed on his back. So that's what you can see in the movie when he gets shot. He's leaning over backwards, and then it switches to the shot of him like jumping
diving
forward,
and his eyes open, like he's looking to where he's landing. Which of course,
diving off.
He had to do it, but yeah, that's an interesting take on that too.
Yeah. Apparently, the roof scene in the beginning where they're all shooting, the agents come in and they're shooting the people that come out of the rooftop doorway. That was in Pittsburgh too, but on the roof of a business building that George Romero had. And I don't know if he had it at the time or not, but he might have. He ended up either working there or owning the building.
Yeah.
They use that for that, so that's a cool.
And now
fact.
at this point, you can't get up there now. But back then, there was a door that you were able to get up.
Or maybe they couldn't. We were watching a documentary on it. Maybe they couldn't get up there just because of business.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was interesting.
And now the JCPenney now that they filmed in is now a Cinemark.
Yeah,
so it's a movie theater. And the funniest part in the movie, one of the parts that I laughed at is when the Flyboy is coming down. He meets up with Ken and Roger, and they give back to JCPenney.
Yeah.
And then they like run to the other side as fast as they can. They like sprint towards the door. I'm like, there's no zombies in
like
JC.
no
Why are
need
you
to sprint.
sprinting so fast right now?
Oh no, Flyboy was sprinting like fucking rigorously.
Yeah.
He was like sprinting so
like
fucking
marathon.
hard. Yeah. If you guys haven't noticed that, watch that scene again.
Yeah.
Where they're like running. I think it's when they like distract the zombies and then they come back down. I don't know. But all of them are running towards the glass and he's like sprinting his ass off.
And of course they're all like happy that they're having like a shopping spree. No one's there. They raid the bank, which I didn't know there was banks in malls.
Well, apparently, or gun stores,
or hardware stores.
Yeah,
but
back then.
But that one scene, there's no zombies and just all doors are sealed. They just sprint to the other side for no reason. That was just funny as hell.
So there were some good moments. I mean, a couple of moments where you're like, what? With like some of the acting, some of the, like that swing, the running. We talked about how Roger's going crazy when they're doing the truck thing, and you're sort of like, what the fuck? Calm down.
Yeah.
You know.
They randomly smash pies on the zombies' face.
Yeah, that was sort of cool.
But they're having fun with them because the zombies are so slow, and the whole, of course, Tom Savini's machete chop right into the head, and that was set up, and the head chop when he's on they're riding motorcycles throughout the mall and stuff too. You know
what I liked about it, I thought it was a little bit more of a realistic zombie depiction because, I watched The Walking Dead, and it's almost like there's so many times during The Walking Dead where I'm like, why don't you guys just go sprint through the zombies? You know what I mean? Like, they're pretty fucking slow. They just walk. And there'll be like zombies that are like, we're trapped, we can't do this, or we're all going to die. When you could like literally just sprint through them. Or if there was like 10 of them or at a door or something, it's like just fucking like shove the door open and just like football check your way through the line of 10 of them. You know?
That's what they. That's
and
what
like they kept doing that in Dawn of the Dead. And when I was watching Dawn of the Dead, I'm like, God, if this was Walking Dead, like they would have died so many times by now. Because I think it's more realistic. There was a couple times, especially when they're at Penny's and they open that door, and there's like fucking 15 zombies like right on the door, and like nothing. They just open the door, they go out, they start shoving the zombies, and
hit him in the back of the head with like the guns.
Yeah, and they just get through, and the zombies are like falling over and shit, and then there's plenty of times where they just sprint through the mall. They're like, let's just sprint through the mall around the zombies.
Between and through zombies, yeah.
So I love that. I was like, why the fuck? No one else? Yeah.
Or even when they're exchanging the trucks and Roger has to go, they're trying to get 3 trucks and he gets bitten, of course, but there's like 10 or 20 zombies that he just shoots them and gets in the other truck. And which I have to do the 70s soundtrack. Ready?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Ba-da-dum, boom, boom. Bum bum, ba-da-dum, bum bum, bum bum. Okay, sorry.
I thought you were gonna do that. Wasn't that just a soundboard?
Yeah, that was a soundboard.
Oh, it's so I can't even tell the difference.
You can't tell the difference.
Jeez,
gotta love that 70s music. Oh, and one of the other ridiculous things is when the guy just randomly sits down in the blood pressure thing that takes your blood pressure. What the
Poncho?
Fuck? Poncho with the sombrero.
The sombrero on. I think that was fucking awesome.
He did it first time, and then he leaves, and then everyone's getting killed and attacked by zombies, and there's like zombies on him, and he just sits down at it. He's like, I'm gonna die.
No, he like sprints to it and sits down.
He like sprints to it.
He's like, I need my blood pressure before I die.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, and I think the whole
I need my blood pressure before I die, man.
Before I die, man.
Yeah,
and I think the whole effect was that. Obviously, his body gets ripped away from his arm. His arm's still there.
They had to have that somehow.
Yeah.
He's just taking advantage of...
blood pressure is bad or whatever.
He's probably an illegal alien. He's taking advantage of the free healthcare while he can get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if he dies. It's right there. So, I don't know. That wraps up my stuff on Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah,
I don't know if you had...
Overall, I thought it was a good movie. I did like it better than... the Crazies, and Martin, probably. I just love zombies. But
it was good.
As Night of the Living Dead was good to do. There was one boob scene too, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, we just saw one nipple. Just one nipple. Boob.
We gotta document this, guys.
So so
But yeah,
that you know.
Other than that, it is similar to the 2004 film. Obviously, the 2004 film was a lot more high budget, but
Yeah.
but this is a classic.
Yeah, maybe we'll cover. I don't know if we'll cover 2000. We might. I mean, he wrote it. Romero wrote it still. So, we want to get through the Of the Dead stuff, Land of the Dead,
the
and
classics.
Day of the Dead.
I
And
mean, we are the cold classic horror show. We got to get through the classics.
That's true. So yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up. Don't forget to check us out at cultclassichorror.com. Participate in the horror halftime poster stuff so we can send you some free stuff. And we'll be here next week.
Be here next week, guys.
I think it's Day of the Dead this
Day of the Dead.
So
I believe so.
Join us next week. And thanks for joining us this week.
Yeah, good to see you guys again. We'll see you next week.
Don't you blame the movies? Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.